What's up, everyone? How's it going? Let me make sure everything's going through smoothly here. I hear me. I hear me. That's what's up. So yeah, I've been known to have some audio issues before, so hopefully hopefully everything is going to go swimmingly this time. Let me know if there's any kind of incident that I need to take care of. So yeah, here we are again. Here we are again. It's only been maybe like a month since I was well, I'll say this, it's been maybe like 2 months since I was really introduced to the quartering. It's been an interesting ride. Now, I haven't had any like interactions with him, but just judging based off of the 3 videos at this point that I've really paid any attention to, I think after today, it's kind of safe to say that this guy should not be taken seriously at all whatsoever. So to recap here, as far as my seeing the quartering's content as it kind of enters into something I'm interested in. So there was the Shanny for Christ stuff going on where he, in essence, did no research on the topic whatsoever, only jumped on it because it was a trending topic that a lot of people were talking about, and wanted to get the clicks and views. He put my friend Frank, who's actually in the chat right now, shout out to Crude AF, in the thumbnail for said video, when his only relation to Shanny would be that he covered some of her interesting content. Let's just say that. So the guy has no idea what he's talking about, doesn't do a modicum of research to even educate himself slightly on what he's about to be talking about, just for views and clicks. That's really all it's for. And he seems to have kind of, I don't know, garnered an audience that he is going to placate to, no matter what the scenario may be. which kind of bleeds over into the last time that I covered him, which was here on this channel for the first time. Catching up with the chat here. Lady Baconator says his take on the new Candyman can be summed up as tell me that you haven't seen the original Candyman film without telling me you haven't seen the new Candyman or the original Candyman film, and that's perfect. It's a perfect. Honestly, I think that could just be the general idea for any video he does. Now, granted, I've only really sat through 3 of his videos at this point, and I like to be pretty open and honest about that. But so with the Shanty for Christ stuff, he had no idea what was going on. Going into the Child's Play stuff, he had no idea what was going on, and he was just upsetty spaghetti because there was a gay character in the show. That's really how you can sum up that last interaction of me actually watching his videos, which I did on this channel. So today, here we are again. I think I do, and I'm not going to lie, I do surf YouTube sometimes for people bashing things that I enjoy, and either do one of 2 things. You can listen to it and go, oh, okay, well, yeah, maybe they have a point about that, and go on about my day. Or B, sometimes they say ridiculously dumb shit, and then I'm going to feature it here. As I've done with this guy before, and I forget the guy's name, but there was another guy talking about the psychological ramifications of watching horror films. So yeah, it is something I do from time to time, but mostly doing horror here. But if it's horror related, I'll do it. God damn it, why the hell not? So yeah, in the same vein as his Chucky take, we're going to jump into his Candyman take here today. He's going to be talking about, and this video came out like a day after the film, Candyman, Nia DaCosta's Candyman, released into theaters. And I'm pretty sure he admits in this video he has not even seen the film as of yet. And I want you all to bear that in mind as we're going through this thing. Really take that into consideration. What's up, Hard Truths, by the way? I wanted to acknowledge you as well, making sure I speak to everyone that's here thus far. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to jump into this thing. It's very interesting, to say the least. As always, quick shill session. Super chats are available if anyone's interested. Obviously, you don't have to. Memberships are open and available if anything. If any of those tiers seem interesting to you, yeah, would be awesome. And I guess other than that, like the stream and share me out, folks. That will be some helpful things to do as well. What's up, Cody? So yeah, we're going to jump right in here. We're going to go ahead and talk about the Quartering's latest dumbass take on the genre of horror. Last time it was the Child's Play TV show. This time it's the Nia DaCosta Candyman legacy sequel, as I call it. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right in. If there's any kind of audio issues as far as what you're hearing from the video, let me know. I'll take care of it. But let's jump in.
Woke horror films is a thing that only 2020 to 2021 would bring you. And I think I know exactly why. Look, if you've been a fan of this channel, you know I'm a big fan of horror films. In fact,
I hate to stop him right off the bat like this. I really do. I don't want to. I know he's not even barely a sentence in, but what you call woke, or what could be considered woke, is something that a lot of times, especially people like this, consider it something having a message, which is something he's going to get into. Before we even finish playing this, find me a filmmaker who doesn't have a message they want to convey through their film, please, because if you do that, I'll show you a shitty film.
In fact, I just happen to have Friday the 13th on NES sitting here from stream last night. But look, the reviews for horror films are always bad. Every time you see, I even like the kind of the new series, why can't I think of the name of it? They're all in the Conjuring type series.
See, he's kind of one of these people who claims to be a horror fan, but shits on the genre from beginning to end, especially anything modern. I kind of question if he's actually a fan of this stuff or if it's just something like an image he wants to convey to show the other side of what it's become now. But I'll digress.
I know they're not amazing, but like as such a fan of horror films, it's really difficult. You kind of got to take what you get, and it's not always great. In fact, it's bad more often than not. There are some good classics out there.
So, like I said, how do you call yourself a fan of something and openly admit that, yeah, most of the time it's garbage? I don't know. I've always got the feeling this guy really kind of pretends like he's into things, that he's really not, kind of like a fucking poser. But that's just conjecture.
I'm still a
Let's
big
get to
fan
the
of kind
meat
of
of
the
this.
Poltergeist era, the 80s kind of horror films, early 90s. These are probably to
Wait a minute. Hold on. I swear to God, I'm going to let the guy talk. Did he just say he was a fan of the Poltergeist era of horror films as he's openly coming out against woke or preachy or horror with a an undertone, a message to it, a commentary on society, as it were? That's interesting. That you specifically cite Poltergeist when you say that too, because and I'm sure your dumbass missed it. Poltergeist has a lot to say that could be considered quote unquote woke, or has a message to it, or is preachy when it comes to certain things like capitalism, like treatment of the Native Americans in this country. And that's one of the things that I always find funny about this, is that there is 100% most definitely messages like that in a film like Poltergeist that you just cited as being the antithesis of woke horror, but it's right there. The thing is that it wasn't, this whole thing wasn't an issue culturally back then, and you didn't notice it. That's what happened. So I think that's funny that of all the movies to use, you choose Poltergeist, which just off the top of my head, I can think about that film. Like I said, tackling things like, the film had an issue with capitalism. The film wanted to talk about treatment of Native Americans in this country. It's just right off the top of my head, man. Just and it's been a while since I've even seen this film, so I don't know. I find that entertaining that's what you went with. Richard says, anytime the Quartering talks about woke stuff in horror films, he says stuff that makes me think he doesn't even watch them, to be honest. Exactly. It's like I was saying earlier. I don't think that he really is a fan of what he says he is in a lot of aspects. I think that he comes from that angle of, I used to be a fan of this until woke culture took it over, and now it's not even recognizable anymore.
To me, as good as they'll ever get. But every once in a while, I think there's a good horror film put out there. And I think nowadays, though, because of award season, because of the artificial importance placed on reviews, they start.
Okay, so because of award season, bro, horror has. We as horror fans accept and know going into award season that the best performances in the genre of horror will be ignored. Look at Toni Collette, was it? From Hereditary? I mean, come on, that performance definitely should have been at least nominated. I mean, there are countless examples of things just like that throughout the horror genre when it comes to the Academy, when it comes to award season, as you put it, that we're totally and completely ignored as a genre. So this is nothing new, and this is nothing that like horror movies are just trying to go out and win awards. I mean, it really hasn't even been the case yet with a lot of what's been referred to as art house horror films. I mean, it's a genre that's just historically been ignored when it comes to those type of accolades. So once again, I don't know where the fuck you're getting this from.
Started to kind of go down this woke horror kind of trend, and it's not really limited to just Jordan Peele. There's many kind of woke horror comedies or woke horror films. You could see from News Daily this the rise of woke horror, the scary good filmmakers leading the rise of woke horror.
Okay, so the people who wrote this article are just as inept as you are at seeing the same type of messages in old horror films as you are. You missed it. They missed it. It wasn't a thing culturally back then. The subtext was definitely there, but it wasn't so important to pick up on and attack as you do. So yeah, just so you know, the people who read that article is just as dumb as you are.
No thanks. I mean, a woke movie in and of itself is scary enough. People want to actually relax and be entertained. They don't want to be preached at. And it always comes off as totally inorganic. I felt like Get Out was pretty on the nose, but it was kind of still a decent movie. But it's
so when they give you woke messages on the nose, as in Get Out, you said it was still a pretty good movie. It was a decent movie. So that should let you know. Do you remember last time I was streaming and the quartering said, he was out on the basis of the wokeness and the gay character? Do you see how when you didn't say you were out based on something that was just really arbitrary and dumb, you ended up kind of enjoying the film? Do you see that, Jeremy? Do you see how that works? That's interesting. Even if your politics or your ideology doesn't line up perfectly with that of a filmmaker who put a message they value as important into their film, it doesn't, and nor should it, ruin the entire film for you.
It's rare that people can go into a movie and say, I want to talk about this political issue, but through the lens of a horror film.
What's up, Chubbs?
You saw that with the remember the liberals hunting conservatives, whatever movie that was, got politicized heavily, and the movie itself really wasn't like quite as bad as people thought it would be. But you had obviously Get Out being kind of
weren't the quote unquote liberals the antagonists in that film? I've never seen it. That was just the vibe that I always got. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. First
kind of woke, but then you get all these films. They're talking about it, and they're all terrible, and you never heard of them. You get Jordan Peele's BLM Parable, Get Out. You have Thelma. You have Raw. Raw was actually
Raw was actually a pretty big deal amongst the horror community, as I recall, back when it came out a while back. Get Out was fucking huge. It actually did win awards and was acknowledged as being a really well-made film. And I mean, here's the thing. At the end of the day, I can look at something that I may not agree with its ideology or its messaging and still acknowledge that it has value, that it is a good film. There are movies out there that I can't stand to watch. And it has nothing to do with its messaging even. Just I don't even like the film. But I have no problem acknowledging the value of the film. I have no problem acknowledging that it is just good, well made, well shot, well lit, sound design, cinematography, what have you. And this guy just does not have it in him whatsoever to do anything but be completely negative toward an entire project because he just considers it woke. Why? He doesn't really know. He hasn't even seen the film yet. Like he said, he hasn't even heard of most of the films that are on this list.
Weird. I think that was where you were eating raw meat. I saw that. I know I saw that. It wasn't good. The Bad Batch, Revenge, The Cured. Have you even heard of any of these? No. Heredity was not good, but actually...
Okay, so now the argument is no one's heard of these, but just a minute ago you were trying to say that this is taken over horror. Everyone's trying to win an award and things of that nature. But now that you're actually faced with a list that the people who wrote this article, who are, by the way, still just as dumb as you, they put together these movies, and you are now saying you haven't even heard of them. So is it a really big issue, as you say, to get preachy through the horror genre these days? I don't know, man. There seems to be a little bit of contradiction going on here. It seems like it's a little difficult for you to keep a narrative flowing. You just blow whatever the direction the wind blows for you to be able to take a shit on something. That's the way you'll go. As long as your subscribers are there for it, that's what you'll do. And that's another reason why I just don't respect you. Is it's obvious to me at this point that you don't really give your take on these issues. You give the take that your audience expects you to give. So yeah, I can't even respect you as a content creator.
It was okay. But again, that's on the modern day level of horror films where they're all just terrible. Rift, nobody wants
Hey,
woke horror
Hereditary is
films
good.
except for directors. And you got a guy like Jordan Peele who said, you know, I don't want to hire any white people kind of thing. And everybody in media applauded it and said it was so stunning and brave to be racist. And that's cool.
Not everybody. No, a lot of people took umbrage with that. I don't know what you're talking about. As with damn near any time something like that happens, there are going to be people that see the value in it, and there are going to be people that think of it as a detriment to what they want to do to begin with. So yeah, there's that argument to be had, and no, not everyone just praised that decision. I distinctly remember a lot of people coming after Jordan Peele for that.
You know, Jordan Peele can do that because that's what is acceptable. In fact, lauded in modern day. I understand the narrative about, you know, not getting a lot of opportunities, and Jordan Peele is welcome to hire whomever he wishes for his film. I just don't think the way to overcome, you know, racism is with more of it. I'm just a simple Midwestern guy.
I think you were kind of on to the idea, I think, that went into him hiring majority black actors, because he does hire white actors. There are some white actors in his films. But I think you were onto something there for a minute. Like, he wants to, it's not that he's saying fuck white people or fuck white actors and actresses. He's saying, I want to give more opportunity to actors that you may not be seeing because they're black. I mean, let's be honest, that does happen. It happens with a lot of different minorities. So, I mean, you know, giving out a little bit more representation on film, giving actors and actresses a shot that maybe wouldn't normally have that much of an opportunity, I don't really see that as really a bad thing. But once again, I mean, I'm here to hear the argument, but you really haven't presented one for that. You've just kind of sugarcoated it to make it look like everyone loved the idea.
I don't really have to deal with the things that probably Jordan Peele had to deal with growing up. But now Candyman, now if you look at the original Candyman, there were some kind of tropes about gentrification, hints of it. But I was in general kind of interested in seeing this movie.
It was just hinted at, guys and gals, just hinted at, you know. No, Candyman 1992 doesn't have anything to say about gentrification or, you know, the treatment of the African American in this country. No, certainly it's the original isn't woke horror, is it? Is it, Jeremy? Oh my God. Do you mean to tell me that's another movie that you've brought up on this stream that would qualify as quote unquote woke horror from back in the era in which you regard as the greatest? Well, for fuck's sake, if I didn't know any better, I would think you're a goddamn idiot.
One, because I love horror and I watch almost every mainstream horror film that comes out, even no matter how bad it is. And two, because the director's Nita Costa, and she is the upcoming director for the new Captain Marvel movie. And I wanted to see just if this person was worthy of the role they received. So now
So you're going to make that determination, huh? You, the quartering, are going to make the determination of, does Nia DaCosta really deserve the job directing a new Marvel film? That's, you know, because that's up to you, right? Totally. I mean, who the fuck are the rest of us but not just waiting? Just people waiting with a bated breath to see what the quartering has to say about the situation.
We got Candyman gets an update, and the horror is gentrification. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I can't wait to pay $15 to go to a cinema and watch this.
You know, just because something's not scary to you doesn't mean it's not scary to other people. And once again, let me just say, I don't know how many times I said this in the Chucky video. Jeremy, do you really think this entire film is about gentrification? because that's the bullshit you're selling to your audience right now. It's because this article said that this film tackles things like gentrification, which, I mean, if it's a real sequel to the original, there probably should be some of that in there. Wouldn't you agree? Or did you still haven't caught up to the fact that the original film did talk about these things? It just it doesn't fit your narrative to acknowledge that. So Jeremy here hasn't seen Candyman as of making this video, which he's either already said it or he's gonna say it in this video at some point. I know he says it at the end. He hasn't seen it yet, come to think of it. So let me help you all out. There is literally one moment in the early part of this film that's really trying to, and I'm going to use the word educate, because, you know, I think there are a lot of average, everyday people that don't know what gentrification is. Sure, I believe that. And I don't think it's, you know, you're stupid or something because you don't know about it. But there's one scene in the film where they're really trying to like nail home what gentrification is, to establish what's going on, and then we can proceed with the film. That's literally it. And it's not like it drones on forever. It's just like one of those things where you're like, okay, they're really trying to nail that point home before we go forward, so everyone's on the same page. Other than that, there's nothing I really had seen in this movie that you could be considered really over the top preachy. I mean, yeah, you know, they bring in how, you know, the original Candyman spoke about, you know, this country's treatment towards African Americans in the past, and this one really hones in on not only that, but how that does continue in different ways. But I don't want to get into too much spoiler territory for those that might have actually not seen it. So we'll jump back in here. Let's see. Comfort Doll says he'd be really pissed if he knew the inspiration for the original Candyman was white and British. That's literally what happened with the apartments featured in the original. Absolutely. Thank you. I don't think that he's aware that this is actually a place. So that could be another issue too. $5 from R. Azrael. Thank you very much for the $5 super chat. I appreciate that, man. You say, I've seen it, and it only mentions gentrification and maybe two scenes briefly in dialogue. Absolutely. Like I said, there's the part near the beginning where they're really trying to like put out that, hey, this is basically what this word means, in a kind of a creative way of not just coming out and giving you the textbook definition. And yeah, like you said, it's mentioned maybe again once, twice tops in passing. So no, it's not a big thing. It's more along the lines of what the film is trying to tell you through its actions, through what's happening in the scene, than people being preachy, which is exactly how the aforementioned things went down in Poltergeist, or the original Candyman. But this guy is too goddamn caught up in culture war bullshit to even be able to enjoy a really, really good sequel to a film he claims to have liked. That's how sad this fucker's life is. Do you understand that? He's so caught up in culture war bullshit that he can't even enjoy things he claims to have enjoyed previously. Can you imagine being that sad of a human being? Fuck me, man.
Who can take a sunrise and sprinkle it with dread? All seems well in the initial moments of Candyman, the modern-day remake of the 92 horror classic, which opens with the sweet sounds of Sammy Davis Jr.'s classic, The Candyman. But then the song and film itself slowly become a spooky nightmare. We love doing stuff like that, the producer and Candyman co-writer Win Rosenfeld told The Post, twisting an otherwise innocent pop song that has become a signature of this production company, Monkey Paw, which he runs with Jordan Peele. The team did the same kind of creepy mix of Lanez's
They did, and it was actually pretty awesome. It's on my Spotify playlist. I love that that remix. I think it was using Us, actually. Yes, Comfort Doll. It is not a remake by any stretch of the imagination. The people who made it call it a spiritual sequel to the 92 original. I call it what it is. It's a legacy sequel. In the same vein as like Halloween that they did in 2018, where they kind of just ignored all the other sequels after the original. This movie kind of does the same. I mean, you don't have to necessarily ignore too much about 2 and 3 because not. I mean, it's just if you've seen the first one, you're good watching this one, and I think that's kind of the marketing idea going forth for a lot of these horror franchises. Because I think at some point they're like, "Fuck, I got to watch 10 sequels to this before I go watch the original." Um, let's see. Yeah, let's jump back in here. We're about halfway done with this thing. It's not an incredibly long video, but I figure I run my mouth enough to pad it out a little bit more to make this a stream instead of a video. So let's jump in.
We got 5 on it in the trailer for the company's breakout hit, Get Out. The team's new Candyman is decidedly a contemporary tale, referred to by filmmakers as a spiritual sequel to the original. Actor Tony Todd returns to play Candyman himself, which I think is actually really cool. And that was one of the coolest parts about it, because I mean that film's 30 years old and he's still coming back. It features a diverse cast, oh thank God, including black leads and a gay couple. Wow, take my money. And deals with the issue.
So why is that an issue for you? Like, seriously, why is that an issue for you? This is the second video I've covered from you, and you really you don't like gay people, do you, Jeremy? It's an issue with you. Like, if I hear, okay, we're getting this film, it's a sequel to a film that you liked from back in the early 90s. They're bringing back some of the characters or settings and things that you liked. It's going to be some good fan service. It's going to be a really good movie. There's going to be some good cinematography and good sound design and things of that nature. But oh yeah, it's going to be a good story to be told too. But unfortunately, there's a gay couple in it. What does that ruin it for you? Is it? I mean, fuck me running, dude. Seriously? What's the problem? What's the fucking problem? I'm struggling to figure it out. What's the issue here?
Issues of class and gentrification in a real-life neighborhood of Chicago's Cabrini Green. Wow, I literally can't wait. After the most recent film of the franchise, 99's Candyman Day of the Dead, God, that was bad, bombed at the box office, holds a 10% fresh rating at Rotten Tomatoes. Peele resurrected the series, backed by his proven horror track record, including box office success, Get Out, and Us. I don't call that a proven horror record. Get Out was good. Us.
Oh, wait, you're saying that Jordan Peele doesn't have a what's the claim in this article? The claim in this article is he has proven box office success and a record in Get Out and Us. So what is you're saying he doesn't, huh? He doesn't have proven box office success. Okay. All right. I'm going to go to Wikipedia right now and we're going to look up the box office for Get Out and Us comparative to its budget. Let's see here. Let's see if you're an idiot or not, Jeremy, because I'm pretty sure you are. Okay, so $4 million budget, $255 million box office on Get Out. Would you look at that? Wow. Okay. So you may make the argument that, his follow-up didn't do very well. Okay, he had a bigger budget here of $20 million and made $255 million again on this one. I'd say that's a pretty proven goddamn track record when it comes to box office success, is that if you give Jordan Peele the camera to direct this film, you're going to make your money and way then some back. So once again, it's just an attack on someone you don't like, but you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Jeremy. That seems to be the issue of all of these videos that I run across from you, is you just don't know what the fuck you're talking about at all whatsoever. And it's so easy that I can just Google and disprove you with easy, readily available facts. Jesus.
Was not. So he's shooting 50%. And if you want to throw in what he did to the Twilight Zone, he's shooting 1 for 3, 33%. So no, it's not a proven record. We like to play with stories that are mythical and magical, but grounded in a way, or in a grounded way, said Rosenfield, noting that the themes in Candyman were ripe for him and Peele to mine. With the 92 original was loosely based around the idea of gentrification, if you stretched, sure, around the Cabrini.
He did it again. He said something stupid again. Once again, all right. Like was said in the chat at the beginning of the video, like I've even said it myself. Tell me you've never seen the original Candyman without telling me you've never seen the original Candyman. I want to go back. I'm going to go and take this back about 10 seconds here, and let's see what he says at the top of that paragraph.
Candyman were ripe for him and Peele to mine. With the 92 original was loosely based around the idea of gentrification, if you stretched, sure.
If you stretched, sure. Once again, I mean, like, does every message in movies just go right above your goddamn head, Jeremy?
Around the Cabrini Green area, Chicago's most notorious projects, since torn down, the new version, directed by New York City native Nia DaCosta, intimately explores the idea of the transformation of a Chicago neighborhood through the eyes of its conflicted main character, Anthony McCoy, a visual artist who was formerly a resident of the projects. McCoy played the Emmy Award-winning Watchmen breakout star. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II is a conflicted soul, now living in a swank loft built where the Cabrini Green projects once stood. He haplessly summons Candyman while mining for artistic inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay. I think
such insightful, probing commentary from Jeremy here. You know what I'm saying? He reads that summary that he can't attack anything really that his audience really wants him to attack. So he just gives us that. I mean, okay, just really insightful, really probing, just amazing stuff right there, Jeremy. You keep it up. I see why you have 1 million subscribers. You know.
Most movies oversimplify the idea of gentrification, Cooper said, who grew up in Soho and Red Hook, told the Post. Adding layers to the complexity of the popularity of the social justice movement in the last 2 years, a prescient topic at the film was originally set to be released in what would have been the midst of the peaceful protest last summer. It's uncanny that this film that Nia DaCosta crafted, which speaks to the unending cycle of bad behavior in American against Black bodies, was being mirrored in reality. You know that? Okay. Do you know who's doing that?
Is he really about to try to do it? Is he about to try to make the black on black crime, black on black violence? Is he really? Hold on.
I don't want to get, you want to, okay. I'm not going down that road.
Yeah, that's exactly what he was about to get ready to do. I'm glad you didn't there, Jeremy, because then I would have to tell you things like, the white on white crime rate is damn near identical, but you're not out here preaching to the white community about any of the same things that you want to preach to the black community about how they need to get their community in order first, right? We're not going to talk about that, right? And we're not going to talk about the connection between that and the poverty rate in the black community. No. See, there's nuances and things that you could actually talk about to have a conversation based around these messages or these matters, rather. But you don't want to do that. You just want to satiate your crowd, right? All right.
Believed it's not being released at a moment of national inflammation. At least there's been a beat since then. I think I know why they do this stuff. And that's to get these articles written.
So you think they changed their entire film into something just for a couple of articles being written about it? That's dumb as fuck. That sounds like something that you would say, Jeremy. In reality, what it is every fucking director that is worth a shit has a message behind their film. How have you made it this far in life? Call yourself a fan of any genre of film and you haven't figured this out yet. Every single director that really fancies himself an artist, because what they do is art. Let's be real. They have a message. Any director that's worth a shit has a message. Most of them have subtext that they want to put in the movie to extenuate that message. How have you missed this? How is this just now an issue for you all of a sudden that you don't want to be preached to when you go see a film? It's been happening to you since the first time you ever watched a film. I mean, that's what art is, isn't it, Jeremy? Isn't that what art is supposed to be? They're conveying a message or a feeling or an emotion or something to you through their art. And you interpret that based on what they've given you. You're an actual fucking moron. You really are. I don't see how you've made it this far into your life, call yourself a fan of these types of cinema, and you've completely missed everything.
Candyman gets an update, and the horror is gentrification. On what planet would anyone want to pay to see this movie? Now, I think
I paid to see it. I went Friday night, last Friday at this point, to go see it. And I enjoyed myself. I really did. It was a fantastic movie. Like I said, I have a review here up on the channel if anyone's interested. I don't really go into spoiler territory in it, so if you haven't seen it yet, feel free to go check out the video. But yeah, I enjoyed myself. I thought it was fantastic. And that's just my opinion as someone who's seen it up against this guy who, at the point of making this video, had fucking not.
I think most normies, like myself, in terms, if it weren't for me having to cover the film industry, I wouldn't even know these articles existed, and I might enjoy the movie in a different way. In a lot of ways, covering this stuff, immersing ourselves in this kind of news does rob us a little bit.
Okay, but like James, so James says, I will defend the quartering on the highlighting the gay relationship. It's not that there are gay characters, it's that they are highlighted. So? I feel like there should be a part 2 to that comment. Like, what's next? And, I mean, you can highlight whatever aspect of your film you'd like to highlight. I think that maybe it could have something to do with the fact that gay people are a minority and they haven't really been treated well, especially in certain forms of media. So whenever that changes, yeah, sometimes it gets highlighted. As a society, sometimes we like to pat ourselves on the back for finally doing something not, intolerant. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Okay, so James says, for example, State of Decay, I don't care that one of the main characters is gay, but I do care that I had to face him after shooting his BF before he turned, broke my heart. Well, I mean, you're supposed to care about character development, right? That's a good thing. Good stuff. I like that. All the way around. So yeah, let's check it out here. What else do we have?
Of any preconceived notions before going into the film. There's absolutely a way you can cover gentrification and this type of things that it doesn't feel ham-fisted and kind of crowbarred into the film. I don't have really any faith whatsoever that Jordan Peele will be able to do this. The whole social justice underlyings in Get Out were about as obvious as a hammer to the face. So I mean, I don't necessarily know. I think that we live in a different era from a cinema standpoint. I'm almost certain that this movie won't make $250 million, but I could be wrong.
Well, I mean, let's be fair about this. Jordan Peele didn't direct it, first off, so we can't really go based on how much his films have previously made. Not only for the fact that he didn't direct it, Nia DaCosta did, but you're also dealing with a pandemic now, and numbers aren't quite as big as they once were for obvious reasons. But I will say this. in prep for this video, I went and took a look, and apparently, as of its opening weekend, it took in like 20-something million dollars, which by pandemic standards is really, really good. And that seems to be that a lot of horror films are the ones that are raking in a lot of money, as far as the pandemic era of cinema goes. Not exclusively, obviously, but I've seen a lot of articles written on that as well. So if modern horror is just so awful and nobody wants to see it because it's woke and blah, 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 I mean, you sure could have fucking fooled me. Now, will Candyman make $250 million in the pandemic? I mean, I doubt it. But that's extenuating circumstances. And I don't think you can say, oh, well, it's woke, so it won't make any money. Well, I mean, if that were the case, then Jordan Peele's 2 films he did direct wouldn't have made the money that they made, especially the second one. Once people have seen the first one and kind of get an idea of what type of filmmaker he is and what type of messages he likes to put out to his audience, then there definitely wouldn't have been that damn near same amount of money made for the second directorial outing. So, yeah, I don't know. It seems a little shitty to try to play that card during the pandemic when you know films aren't going to make as much money as they typically would have.
Well, it's going to depend. I haven't really seen. It's not like the film was marketed this way. Only now are a couple of these articles kind of peeking out. When did this was written today? But the idea that they're outwardly trying to make it social justice-y, good for you. But now I'm not going to pay to see it in the theater, and I'll just watch it using other means. And I'm
you wouldn't steal a car. No, this guy, so he just basically admits on stream he's going to pirate it. That's cool. So you have you don't want to see this movie. No, but I'm going to pirate it. Going to watch it anyway. I just don't want to give them my money. Yeah, because it's your $14 that's going to make the difference, right? It's all the difference in the world. You're a fucking child. You're a child. If you don't want to support it, then don't support it at all. Like, why are you? I don't know. Fucking, he's a big kid now.
I'm sure that many people will also agree, because I'm not going to pay to watch CNN, or get preached at by my movies. Maybe some people do enjoy that. Seriously, obviously some people do, and more power to you. Hopefully they buy 2 tickets, because I'm not going. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.
And that's the end of it. Hope you buy 2 tickets, because I'm not going. In your face, fucker. Nia DaCosta's not getting my $15. Meh. Because they talk about things that I don't like in it. It's like, fine, dude, whatever. But like, I'm going to agree with James here in the chat, who says, essentially what I had said earlier. Motherfucker, if you're going to sit here and tell me about why I shouldn't see a movie, which, first off, you need to have fucking seen it yourself. First off, let's go ahead and establish that. Second off, even when I review a film and say that this movie's garbage, I still at some point in time in the review say, hey, don't take my word for it. This is just my opinion. Go check it out. This guy doesn't even have it within him to say that for a movie he hasn't even seen yet. But he loves stuff like Poltergeist, folks, because there's no societal commentary in that whatsoever. No messages, nothing woke about something like that movie that tackles, the dark side of capitalism or the treatment of Native Americans in this country. Like, no, he specifically cites that one. So holy fuck. Wow. We made it through another video, and I didn't have an aneurysm. Nothing's, no blood vessels popping in the top of my head. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. I'm feeling pretty good about it, because this guy, it's not that what he's saying, it's like triggers me because it's offensive necessarily. It's offensive in a way that he's so uneducated about what he talks about. From messaging in early horror films, I guess. Well, I shouldn't say early. I should say, the era he's trying to coalesce around, the 80s and maybe early 90s type era of horror. But holy fuck, it's interesting. So yeah, there it is, folks. There's the Quartering's latest attempt to shit on a new property from a beloved horror franchise just because, you know, gay characters and such. Can't be having that, you know. That's a bridge too far, I'll tell you what. So yeah, thank you for joining me, everyone. I do appreciate it. It's you know, like I said at the beginning of the stream, I do every once in a while kind of search YouTube to try to see if like there's anyone specifically attacking, you know, horror movies at large or coming after you know, some of the newer releases, so I can just kind of watch it and see, you know, what their feelings are on it. And if I agree with that or if not. And sometimes, like I said, when I A, don't agree with it, and B, it's stupid as fuck on top of that, making it a fucking idiotic, imbecilic Sunday, you know, then I put it on this channel sometimes and we take a look and dive in. But yeah, that's it, folks. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. I told you it wouldn't be a very long stream. I think the video was only like 10 minutes. I ended up turning this into damn near an hour worth of a stream because I talk a lot. But yeah, as always, memberships are on. If any of the tiers down there seem interesting to you, if you'd like to support the channel that way, that would be fantastic. If not, that's fine anyway. Leave a like or a dislike, however you felt about the video before you leave. Let me know. And yeah, I want to thank everyone for joining me here in the live chat. You guys and gals have been absolutely awesome. I appreciate that. And everyone who's going to be checking this out later on, drop a comment. Let us all know your thoughts on this this fucking ridiculous man-child who goes by the Quartering. And yeah, I guess that's going to be about it, folks. I got to go do some stuff. I got to get my day started a little late. But yeah, there's some things I got to go take care of. Had to get this one off the chest sooner or later because, I mean, I can't watch people be this stupid and not say anything about it. But yeah, thank you all for joining me, and we'll catch you all next time. The Halloween 2, I'm currently working on a proper movie review for Halloween 2 to accompany the original that I released recently. So everyone keep your eyes peeled for that one, and we'll catch you all next time.